I am Cecilia Kessler. I work in the Ionizing Radiation Department at the Bureau International de Poids Mesures. My presentation is about the key comparison run by the BIPM for high-dose rate iridium-192 sources. Since 2009, the BIPM conducts a comparison of standards for reference air kernel rate for iridium-192 high-dose rate brachytherapy sources with the aim of establishing the degrees of equivalence between the national metrology institutes that hold primary standards. To establish this comparison, the BIPM had to overcome two technical challenges. The BIPM does not have neither an afterloading high-dose rate iridium irradiator nor a primary standard for iridium-192 beams. The proposal made by the BIPM was to run the comparison at the National Metrology Institutes using their irradiation facility and two traveling reference standards, a simple chamber and a well-type chamber. This proposal was accepted by the CCRI, the Comité Consultatif de Rayonnement Ionisant. The comparison was registered in the key comparison database as K8. The BIPM is responsible for tracking the stability of the traveling instruments. The simple chamber is the preferred instrument to run the comparison. For those NMIs that don't calibrate simple chambers, the comparison is run using the well-type chamber. The result of the comparison is based on the calibration coefficient of the standards. The BIPM determination is chosen as the key comparison reference value. To track the stability of the traveling instruments, the BIPM performs periodic calibrations of the simple chamber in the cobalt-60 beam and in the 250 kilovolt X-ray beam. The stability of the well-type chamber is established using a cesium-137 source that is manipulated by a robotic arm. We have two groups of NMIs, those that calibrate simple chambers and the group of NMIs that don't calibrate simple chambers. In the first case, the key comparison reference value for the simple chamber is based on the calibration coefficient in the BIPM cobalt-60 beam, and we apply a correction factor to account for the energy dependence of the standards between cobalt and iridium. This correction factor is calculated using Monte Carlo techniques and is taken from literature. For the second group of NMIs, the BIPM calibrates at each NMI the well-type chamber in the iridium beam using the simple chamber to determine the reference air kernel rate. And the key comparison reference value for the well-type chamber is the mean of the calibration coefficient determined by the BIPM. For both groups of NMIs, the comparison result is the ratio of the calibration coefficients in terms of reference air kernel rate. The comparison result and the degrees of equivalence are published in the BIPM key comparison database, and the corresponding comparison report is published as a Metrologia technical supplement. This graph shows the degrees of equivalence of the participating laboratories in this ongoing key comparison. The symbols in red correspond to the results using the symbol chamber, and the one in blue is using the well-type chamber. These results, as published in the KCDB, were before the implementation of the ICRU 90 recommendations. And we can see in green the updated results after the adoption of the ICRU 90, with the changes implemented by the NMIs to their standards as they were informed by the participant laboratories. For further information about the K8 comparison, protocol, and results, please go to the BIPM KCDB webpage, or you can contact us by mail. Thank you for your attention.